Hello everyone, welcome to Live with Sirus Migration, where we provide all the immigration updates and we're here to help you through your migration inquiries and issues to Australia. With this new budget information, what a week or what a day, what a session it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of information that we're going to be discussing, and moving forward every fortnight when we sit down on Thursday live with you guys, we're going to be talking about all these issues and simplify and demystify any issue that we can support you through. So my name is Suriappa. I'm an Australian registered migration agent, and I've got Ashani here. She's also a registered migration agent. We're going to be talking about a lot about this negativity is going around with in relation to migration with the new budget came through. But if you plan it properly, as we always say, there's not much to worry about. It's just try for things you're eligible for and do it the right way.
So today we are going to be talking about how the budget release impact Australian migration as a whole. And we are also going to talk about employer sponsorship visas, because when we talk about the budget, you will understand why it's going to be the hot topic in the next financial year. We are also going to talk about partner visas for any Australian citizens, New Zealanders. That's a visa pathway available for you guys to bring in your spouses into Australia. And also we are going to talk a little bit, not too much, about the global talent, which the new changes that is proposed.
And I don't know why we haven't put it there. I'm not going to be shying away from my business visa program.
Oh, it is there, yes.
So we're going to be talking about business visa
employer sponsorship
together with global talent and employer nomination.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about general skill migration as well. There'll be a question and answer session. Talking about information coming up, all the new changes coming up. It is time for us to remind you. It is very important for you to hit that subscribe button right now, and follow us button if you are coming from Facebook, otherwise YouTube, subscribe button. That way, every time we bring this breaking news for relating to immigration sector, as well as new information that may matter to you in Australian migration, or immigration rules and regulations, you'll be the first one to know and you'll be notified. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, I think it is advisable for you to hit that subscribe button right now and like us, to support us, saying that you care.
Right, so let's move on to the first topic, that is the updates, some of the updates suggested from the budget for 2024-25 financial year, which is starting 1st of July. As you probably already know, when it came to skill migration, most of the states are closed now, so they will be opening fresh in the new financial year with the
which is
new
from 1st of July
implemented.
So having said that, though, if you have any questions that you want to clarify related to you, related to someone you know, hit that question on the comment section, whether you're coming from Facebook or YouTube. So as soon as we get through some of this information, we'll attend your question and answer as much as we can during the time given, or we will offer you a one-on-one free consultation with one of us, me or Ashani, so we can talk further. So let's talk about the budget program.
So one of the new visas that is going to be implemented is the new National Innovation Visa that is going to replace the Global Talent Visa. This is going to happen from late 2024, and I feel like our BIP program, or the Business Innovation and Investment Program, also going to be incorporated into this new Global Talent Visa. So that brings us to the BIP program.
Since yesterday, I've been getting so many number of messages and phone calls and inquiries. So what's going on with this BIP? Are they going to close the business program? So the straight answer is we don't know. The most convenient answer, but the reality The real answer is business innovation visa is still there, but within the budget announcement, they have mentioned that they might consider getting rid of. When I said the Department of Home Affairs has decided that they may consider getting rid of 188 program, but combine 188 with 858, which is the business visa and global talent visa together, and announce a new stream in coming months. So they may also invite people who has already applied for business visa to withdraw their funds by September, so they can do whatever they want with it. There's no clarifications, regulations, or rules surrounding it. So if I say this is going to be what's going to happen, it may be wrong. So
so we will get further information, but as
soon
of
as we
now,
know.
what they're saying is they're going to stop the business migration, and they may give option for people to get refund if they have lodged the application. But as we know more information, we will be the first to get in, let you know what's exactly happening. I know there are many people who are waiting for this visa for years now. So soon we will have a solid answer for you. Right, let's move on to the next topic, which is the migration planning levels that was released, I think this morning, for the next financial year. So that is a snapshot of the whole program. As you can see, the total migration program compared to last year, it was 190,000, and this year it's next year it's going to be 185,000, only 5,000 less for the whole migration program.
When you say it's bad, don't get too much concerned,
Exactly,
because when you compare this 185,000 to year before, it was 160,000. So it's still an increase of 25,000. Let's see the positivities.
And 185,000 is a lot of numbers when it comes to visas. and a really good thing I really like about this, and I think this is what Australia needs as well, employer-sponsored visa. The first line, if you look at it,
properly qualified
36,825, it's increased to 44,000 places. That's a huge number of places. And what this means is, if you're a qualified employee, and qualified, they're redefining it, not 2 years work experience. I think they'll only be needing 1 year work experience, and you have an Australian employer who's willing to give you a job. There you have it. You have a permanent residency pathway. So
this is great
that's
news,
a really
actually.
Good,
This is a very good news for
6,000 increase in places. I think this is a good decision. And skill independent, which is the 189 visa, so for whoever doesn't know what it means, it is gone down from 30,375 to 16,900. Again, 16,900. It's
comparatively very similar to what it used to be. Like
exactly, it's a big amount as well. And imagine, I think this is a good indication for people when they lodge an EOI to understand, who should be lodging an EOI for 189 and waiting. I think there's about 400,000 people or 500,000 people apply each year. So for you to get in there, you need to have a realistic understanding.
Of
if
where
I
you stand.
have this amount of points, would I get into this 16,900? So get in touch with the migration agent and find out whether you should be lodging an expression of interest and just waiting, or explore other options if your dream is to really come to Australia. And regional visas, 33,000 places. That's again increased from last year. And state and territory nominated, again increased from last year to 33,000. So skilled migration, pretty much an increase if you look at the state nominated visas. And business innovation visas, there's 1,000 places given. I believe this is for 888s. So people who are already holding 188, for them to apply for permanent residency.
It could be for new applicants as well. We don't know, so there's no definition. But we hope this is probably for 888 people who are already in 188 ABC. For them to get the permanent residency, this is probably the opportunity through 888.
Yeah, and global talent, 4,000 places for next financial year. Very interesting and we are waiting to know what this new the visa is going to be for the global, that's replacing global talent. And as soon as we find out, we'll let you know. And there's 4,000 places for this new visa. And distinguished talent, 300, nothing has changed. So the total skilled visas is 132,200. That's a big number. Only the skill independent visa has gone down to its original number. Nothing else has changed. They've only increased. Partner visa remains the same, 40,500. Parent, 8,500. Child, 3,000. Other family, 500. They all remain the same compared to last year. So the family total is 52,500, and special eligibility 300 visas makes the total migration program 185,000. So that's a good number. If you look at it comparatively, I don't think it's gone down a lot compared to last year at all. But if you look at this state allocations, states have got their allocations for subclass 190 visa and 491. So ACT 600 for both. New South Wales 2,600 for 190 and 1,500 for 491. So as you can see, New South Wales, South Australia got the biggest quota for subclass 491. So if you guys are in regional of these states and working, I think you have a really good chance to get an invitation.
So New South Wales and Victoria again, and they have a bigger number.
South Australia.
South Australia as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get South Australia into this equation to what I'm about to say. Victoria and New South Wales got a bigger number, but remember the competition is very high in New South Wales and Victoria as well. So again, if you're a student or if you're coming to do a master's and look for general skill migration pathways, consider those things. I mean, Victoria is a great place to start. New South Wales is a great place to start. You might get opportunities to work in the field, etc. as well. But again, there'll be lots of applications going through, competing with you as well. The international student intake is much higher in those two states than the other states. But South Australia, as Ashani said, and Western Australia, they're hitting hard too.
Yeah. So NT 250 for 190 and 400, as you can read in the screen, and Queensland, our state, 900 for 190 and 650 for 491. There's going to be a big competition in Queensland. So Queensland graduates, Queensland skill migrants, you have to be really sharp and make sure you increase your points as much as you can, because I can see the next financial year is going to be quite competitive. South Australia, big numbers, 1,100 and 1,200. Tasmania, 600 for both permanent and regional. And Victoria, 2,700 and 600 for 491. Western Australia, again big numbers, 1,500 and 850 for 491. So Western Australia is again going to be a good option for you to study. And
good thing about Western Australia
migration
also is Western Australia has always been quite generous with the 190 program as well. I mean, as you know already, 190 gives you extra 5 points, but again, each state has their own set of rules to comply on top of whatever you require for 189. So with 190, Western Australia has for many years been very generous. So Western Australia has been is a good state. Tasmania's numbers gone down a bit, I guess, 600 for each. But Tasmania, again, the competition has gone down. So even though bigger number is, I mean, the number of places is small, I guess there'll be lots of opportunities for people who are studying or working there
and genuinely
to
staying
convert.
in Tasmania.
Genuinely staying in
Just
Tasmania.
moved for the sake of the visa.
Tasmania and ACT, the state governments, their main focus is to identify the people who are genuinely looking to stay in Tasmania. So if you're planning to go and study in Tasmania, whether you're anytime, like from grade 6 onwards to bachelor's degree, master's degree, if you completed your studies, that's one of the ways to win their trust.
Yeah, because these states, they're looking for permanent migrants and
Absolutely.
migrants who's going to contribute to the economy for years and years, not just
Not
get
just
the visa
for get the visa and run away.
and leave. And
to
I
another
think they
state.
are putting measures in to make sure that they attract the permanent migrants.
And yeah, like a lot of people ask me, I mean, it's getting popular studying the schooling program in Tasmania. A lot of people don't know about this as well. So if you're one of those who's planning to teach your kids in Australia, if international students program, that'll I mean, Tasmania is a good place. We can help you get enrollments to Tasmanian state schools from grade 6 onwards. If you have any inquiries, feel free to be in touch. And the fees aren't very high. I think it's between $10,000 to $15,000 for the whole year. And one of the parents can join as well. So, international students. So, what are you going to say?
Yeah, so international students, I think there has been a bit of changes to the amount of funds you need to show. This has gone up a little bit, and there is a new GT is replaced by a different system.
GSS.
But overall, there hasn't been big changes as of now, but they are also talking about more changes to cap the international overseas students, to make sure that the students come to Australia are coming to Australia for the purpose of education.
Look, I mean, these measures only matters to students who are not genuinely coming to Australia to study. If you're a genuine student, you're here to come and study, and you have a good level of English. If you have the right financials, I can't see any problem. The problem is people come in to the wrong courses, wrong universities. They don't understand the future plan for completing the course. They jump between universities, courses, creating troubles for university education providers, etc. That's where the immigration's trying to ensure that they're picking the right people. So the major changes to international students, of course, the application process has slightly changed from GTE, genuine temporary entrant criteria, to GSS criteria. Other than that, one of the main requirement has changed for financial evidence. So couple of things, if you're coming as an international student, that you have to demonstrate to Australian High Commission, one of which is you need to show that you're a continually, genuinely studying students, so you need to show that continuity of your subject matter. You need to have relevant pre-qualification. So if you're coming for a bachelor's degree, you need to have year 12 equivalent or a foundation program qualification. And if you're coming for a master's degree, you need to have a bachelor's degree. And you don't, and then in the same factor, they look at, like, have you had many years of education gap. Education gap also, if you have been working in the industry, doesn't matter, doesn't cause many troubles if you do it that way. And then you need to show that you have sufficient English to continue your studies, whatever you proposed in Australia. So that could be in a way of sitting for a IELTS program or a PTE exam, etc. And then the third thing, you need to show that you have enough financial capacity to come to Australia and study. And the way the government measured, they will tell an indicative annual cost for living per student per year, and then they will add a cost for 1 year of your course, and then the travel costs, for example, about $5,000 in total for your healthcare, travel, etc. So these living expenses used to be calculated at $24,900. I can't remember the exact number per annum for the main applicant, and $8,000 for secondary and kids. Again, a little less. I can't remember the exact numbers. Now they have changed that, increased by about 25%. Now, if you're applying for a new student visa, the main applicant has to demonstrate that they have almost $30,000 per annum. So there's an increase of $5,000 to $6,000. Secondary applicants about 10,000, and I cannot remember the exact number
like
for
that,
the
10,000. So the fees has gone up about 15 to 25% for the. This is the requirement to show funds when you apply for a student visa. So that requirement has gone up. But we will be seeing more changes with the universities and government together to ensure that the students who are coming here for the genuine purpose of studying. So it's a good thing in a way that they're trying to attract the genuine students. As we know, more information will surely be in touch. I think July, August, September is going to be really big months for this Australian immigration with the new financial year, all these changes coming into place, and November there's going to be big changes for subclass 482 from the look of it.
Absolutely.
So be in touch.
So as long as far as the student visas goes, as long as you find the right university, right course that suits you to your budget and your subject matter, your visa wouldn't be a problem. But it is really important that you get this information from a qualified education or an migration agent in this matter, because it's a little complicated than how it used to be with all these new changes with living expenses, understanding the level of university, what do you call it, which university levels and the country levels, etc., and how it works and what requirements needs. It varies from passport to passport, university to university, course to course. So
and it keeps changing.
Changing. Highly recommend you to talk to someone who understands everything in one hit.
Yeah. All right. So what's next? Yes, so government is not just changing the visa systems, they're also allocating large sum of funds, about 18.3 million over the next 4 years, to make sure that the Australian migration system is attracting the right people, and it is going to be fair for everybody. And $15 million over the 3 years from 2024 to 25 for educational activities to inform migrant workers about workplace protection. So Australia is all about protecting employees, protecting women. So they are going to be investing on to make sure that these things are happening, not just attracting migrants. Make sure the transition is smooth and it is there for the long run.
I didn't see the protecting women part.
Yeah, it is there for the partner visa. They are investing a lot of money for that as well. Yeah. So let's move on to employer-sponsored. Employer-sponsored visa is going to be, as I explained before, there's 6,000 more places for employer-nominated visas. Actually, before we do that, let's just answer a few questions. I've got Janus asking, hi Mr. and Mrs. Yapa, just a quick question. How will the budget affect the student who are currently in Australia and who are planning to pursue another postgraduate? I think applying for another student visa hopefully will not be an issue, but the postgraduate part, if you're worried about the age requirement, we are still waiting to hear further information. So right now it is discussed, don't do this age change as of 1st of July. Do it maybe in August, because a lot of universities can't give their course completion by 30th of June. But we haven't had confirmation about 35 years. Right now, how the Australian immigration website says, it's capped at 35. But we haven't seen any legislative instrument. But we are due to see one very soon.
Yeah.
Which will give
so
us
it's
more,
going to affect a lot of
exactly.
people, especially people over 35.
People like the next viewer. She's saying, I'm a student, age 37, studying health management, no PSW anymore for us. Is there any solution for us? That's what we are hoping, and that's what...
it depends on when you planning to complete your studies as well. Lakshya, we also expecting the changes might allow some leeway for people who are studying
Yeah.
currently. So you might be able to finish off your studies and get into it, but we can't be sure.
Can't be sure. They might say that this requirement is there, but it's starting for people who are graduating after this date.
Absolutely. And also, if you're 38 and studying postgraduate, you might have previous experience and a bachelor's degree already, which means you're a qualified person. You might have other options other than just going for, see, if you were to apply 189, 190, 491 onshore, you're putting an EOI. This is an invitation only program. So during that EOI program, EOI period, you do not have a visa to be in Australia. That's where you really need this 4854. Because you know that you're not going to have it, I think the best option for you is to consider getting into a visa that you can go into directly if you planning to stay here. So one of them could be going into talking to employers and see if you can secure a job opportunity depending on your course and experience, of course.
Yeah.
And that might be another option. So be in touch if you like, and we can help you find the right pathway.
Nimesh is saying, I'm 28, hold high national diploma in IT. Can I apply for bachelor's if possible?
Yes, that's a very good question, Nimesh. Answering the question, 28 bachelor's degree, a lot of people say no. That's because in point blank, you've done your A-level or your secondary schools 10 years ago, and then you've been doing nothing, and all of a sudden you've done a diploma and you're expecting to do bachelor's. That way it might not work. But if you've done your IT diploma some times ago and you've been working in the industry for a while, some people have. When I spoke to, like, last weekend, we had seminars in Sri Lanka and I had an event in Vietnam. When I was talking to these clients, what I understood is some of them, they have only completed a diploma, but they have extended knowledge than a person who would have completed a bachelor's degree. So for them, if you're one of them, of course, completing a bachelor's degree makes sense because you need to have that professional qualification to advance your career. In that case, of course, you can do it.
Yeah, Chalan is asking, is there any indication in the budget discussion that 35-year cap for 485, any exception for
we just talked about it. I think you might have.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard it.
So yeah, I mean, there might be a space for that. We are all expecting that will happen that way, or we also think that it might not happen on 1st of July. So we just have to wait and see.
Little later.
Yeah.
Sarang is asking, I'm a chartered qualified accountant with merits bachelor's degree, 3 years experience in audit. What is the pathway for me in Australia?
With right English, you can do 186 direct entry straight away because you have 3 years work experience, but you need to have an employer. You can always do 482 temporary skill shortage program as well.
You have few options.
Depending on your points, you might consider skill migration as well. So Saranga, I think it's advisable for you to set up an appointment with one of us and see what will be the most suitable pathway for you.
Yeah. Dilshan is asking, I have heard that states are closed for nominations these days. Any idea when would they open again? Definitely after 1st of July.
1st of July. So Australian financial calendar goes from 1st of July to 30th of June. So we are in so there's 4 quarters and we are in the final quarter of the financial year. 30th of June ends the financial year. So we don't foresee any nominations before 1st of July anymore from the state governments. 189, you never know. Still don't want to give up the hope. So anytime after 1st of July, sometimes some states open in middle of July, some states go till August, to a couple of months. Yeah.
Yeah. Handal is asking, if a partner visa applicant from overseas can get a bridging visa if they're here on a tourist visa. No, you cannot.
If you applied for the visa offshore, then you cannot apply for a bridging visa onshore.
Yeah.
Harsh part. But the good thing is these days you can get the partner visa granted onshore.
While you're in Australia.
So you might have other options, Hundal. Again, be in touch. We can probably discuss what are the other options.
Harsh is asking, my daughter is BDS from India. I guess it's a bachelor's degree. Can her PR possible as she is studying in Melbourne?
Look,
yeah,
there's
get
many
in touch.
factors
Exactly
that's
affects that.
Yeah.
But if she wants to get in touch with us, so happy to have a chat with her and advise her on a permanent residency pathway.
Let's get to the real magic.
Yeah.
Let's talk about employee-nominated scheme for 2024-25 financial year.
So as of now, we only know one thing, that is that 482 is going to go through a reform, and I think the visa is, there's going to be 3 lists, or there's going to be 3 different types of, or there's streams of the 482 that's the highest income earning, or 135,000 or more, and the 70,000, and then there's going to be a third layer as well. That's all we know for now, but we also know that the work experience requirement is going to go down from 2 years to 1 year. This, I think it's a good initiative to attract more people for 482, because qualification plus 1 year experience, that's a good skilled worker.
So in summary, I guess looking at the full, the way I read it, full financial budget, or the budget forecast for migration sector from the government's incentives are more towards employee nominated and work visas, and there's less incentives towards business visas and financially motivated people. So I guess if you're planning to migrate, the best way is to get education and work experience built up, so you can
contribute straight to the
Australian workforce. Yeah.
So we talk about employee nominated visas throughout our live sessions, and I've done many videos on our YouTube as well. So just to briefly explain it to you, if you have an employer, if you have a occupation in the demand list, and if there's no age limit for this, and if you have the right English and a skill assessment based on your passport, not many people need skills assessments, you can be eligible for one of these visas that's listed here. But the key criteria is you need to have an Australian employer who's willing to give you a job, and this job has to be there for at least 1 year or 2 years, depending on the time of nomination. And the visa process is really fast. 482 only takes about 1 to 2 months, and 186 and 494, even though it takes a bit longer, 186 is direct permanent residency, and 494 it's a regional visa that gives many number of occupations the opportunity to go through this visa to get permanent residency. So this is, I think, one of the best visas if you want to come to Australia in the next financial year. So if you want to know more about it, you guys can visit our YouTube channel. Just type 482. I'm sure there'll be a lot of videos come through as this visa changes or goes through the reform. We will surely be putting more videos out, just going through the criteria and advising you if this visa is suitable for you. So that's with the employer-sponsored visa. If you want to know more information, please feel free to get in touch. So let's move on to the next one, which is our partner visa. So if you have if you're an Australian citizen, permanent resident, or eligible New Zealander, and you're married or in a de facto relationship with a person who doesn't hold the Australian permanent residency or citizenship, obviously they need a visa to come and live with you in Australia. And partner visa is that visa. There's one visa that is for offshore. If the overseas partner is in Australia, then they are eligible for onshore visa, which is called subclass 820, 801. But if they're offshore, they have other options, two options. If your relationship is strong, then you can do offshore partner visa, which is 309-100. Or if your relationship is not that strong and you've at least met once face to face, you have the option to apply for a prospective marriage visa. These visas are quite costly. The application fee is about 8,850. This, I'm sure this will go up 1st of July again by a few $100. But this is a great
CPI
visa
increase.
if you want to come to Australia to live with your partner. There's criteria applicable that you have to prove different aspects of your relationship if you apply when you're applying under this visa. So again, get in touch with the migration agent and find out if you're eligible, which one is best for you, and what comes with this visa application. So that's very briefly about Australian partner visa. I think we are now moving to the global talent. As you know, global talent, there's going to be 4,000 places allocated for next financial year. Visa is again going through some changes. It's going to be called something else.
Global talent, business visa. What is it?
Hopefully,
Merged.
yeah, that's what it's going to be. But still, there will be places available for you. I feel like they're going to get not just the people who are working, but people who are doing business, hopefully, under this stream to come and do some startups in Australia. Otherwise, Australian small business.
It might look like instead of going through the state, they might make it look like because if it's combining with GTI program, it might look like a 188E maybe, because you will end up proposing what's your venture going to be in Australia like, and then they might come up with an invitation system federally rather than state-wise. So it all depends. I mean, I can't. Then it'll be a conflict between the state's planning program and then federal planning program. So we are not that.
Let's just wait.
Into
Let's
politics
wait
yet.
and
So
see
we
what
simply
happens.
visa advisors.
So I think, is there anything else that you want to mention? Or?
Unless you guys have any questions, we're going to wrap up the sessions for the day.
Thank you so much for
joining us, and we'd like to have it come by next fortnight again on Thursday, share our knowledge and news. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit that subscribe button so you'll be the first to listen to any of these new visa changes. And we're going to be producing many new videos with the new visa changes and the requirements, so you can self-study what you're going to get into and how you're going to plan your life with migrating to Australia. So plan yourself properly, and we'll be the guides for you to migrate to Australia. Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Stay safe. See you in 2 weeks.
See you then. Bye-bye. God bless.